It's not a downhill race. It's not a slope style.
Definitely not
And
slope
it's
style.
like a really unique combination of all these different things. She started to slide, like, and there's just no room for error. And just like that was a moment I won't forget.
Claire Buchar, welcome to the show. So, for those who don't know Claire, we have a full podcast that we could do about your career, racing World Cups, then doing video edits, moving into freeriding, but that will be for another time. Today, I wanted to chat with you about women's Rampage, and I think you're gonna be the perfect guest for it, not only because you obviously shred, but also because you were there, you hiked the mountain several times, you've looked at every single line, and you were one of the judges.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I look forward to chatting with you about that. I've taken a bit of a break from the podcast, but now with the bad weather, I'm gonna be doing a lot more of that. And after this video, the next one will be about men's Rampage. So make sure you check this one out as well. So the way I wanted to go over it, we can talk a little bit about your background, because I think it's going to make a lot of sense for the viewer to understand your input and your point of view about all those lines, all the performances that we've witnessed at Women's Rampage 2025. And then we'll look at every single rider and their lines and kind of explain what happened, talk a little bit about the scoring, and then quick words about men's Rampage as well. So a bit of background about yourself. Just for the viewer, Claire and I met back in 2013 in the Whistler Bike Park. And so I knew of you, obviously, from your time racing World Cups. So I knew who you were, and I got the privilege to work with you at Evolution Whistler. And then we got to ride together.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your career pre-2025?
Sure. So, you and I have been friends for a long time, like since you came to Canada. And I think I've been around for a while. I think I started riding in 1999, 2000.
Yeah.
And like total beginner, but straight into it. So I grew up in Lynn Valley, North Vancouver. So like the North Shore, things were like popping off there. And so yeah, I actually started out being a free rider. And I was like following all the boys around, and there were a few girls that were doing it, and we were riding lines and hucking off stuff, that a lot of people don't really know, because there was no social media back then. And I think that I was one of the few women back then that were kind of like pushing free ride. And I think that we tried to kind of start a movement back then for women, but I think the industry, it just wasn't ready for it, kind of thing. So there was no career path for me with free ride. So I kind of went into downhill racing, which I'm so glad I did, because I loved that. And that was my life for many years. But when I wasn't racing, I was always free riding, right? So it never left me. And after I finished with racing, I got into coaching, and more like media projects, and basically back into free riding, and that's what I'm still kind of doing today. But I think it's cool because I have this perspective from kind of all sides as a coach too. It's fascinating for me to show up at Rampage and like see the different personalities and their approaches.
Totally.
like, you know, this person's definitely checkers or wreckers, and this one's like really calculated, and it's really fascinating to me, actually. I enjoy it.
And we can talk about that after, with like how obviously everyone is super talented. You don't end up at Rampage by accident. Like, you end up at Rampage because you deserve it. But for the viewers, like, obviously you've got, you know, background of racing World Cup and, you know, doing gaps in the bike park. But like, first time I rode with you properly, I think we did Gargamel in 2013.
Yeah.
Which is a very difficult trail in Whistler. And I was following you, and like, your riding technique is textbook. You know, you do like this pivot turn, like your body position, like you stand like really tall on the bike. So your riding technique is perfect. And I think it's important to mention that, because when looking at the line and judging the riders, since you are able to ride at this level, you can definitely pick up whenever a rider makes a mistake, or when they could ride a little bit better, a little bit more confident. So I think that's gonna add a lot to this conversation we're gonna have.
Yeah, like, I feel like when I was asked to invited to be a judge, like last year, I was invited to be a shadow judge for the first women's Rampage, and I didn't take that lightly. I was like, whoa, this is like...
So what's a shadow judge?
Basically, you shadow and you learn.
Okay.
So we showed up, Blake Hansen and I showed up, and we basically shadowed the guys. We learned the ropes. We listened to their conversations, how everything was done from when you show up, you know, 3 days before the event, 4 days before the event, however long, and then throughout the event. And so, yeah, I mean, when I was asked, I didn't take it lightly, and I thought about it for quite some time. And then in the end, I realized, well, you know, like, I feel like with my background in riding, competing, coaching, I feel like I could contribute in a good way here. Like, I didn't take it as like, yeah, let's do this, you know, like,
Totally.
I kind of approach it as like, this is kind of my chance to contribute to women's free riding, and kind of like support and, you know, like, be a part of it in this way. And I feel like I have a good, like, I can have a good grasp on like what a winning Rampage run would look like. So, because it is such a unique thing, it's like, it's not a downhill race. It's not a slope style.
Definitely not slope
It's
style.
like a really unique combination of all these different things, and it's a judged event.
Yeah.
So really, like, you're trying to impress the judges.
Totally.
Yeah.
So talking about judging, how does that work? Like, because that's the question that comes back, you know, like, you see people on internet complaining about the judging, and it's a judging event. So you know, it's not like downhill racing where your time is faster than the second while you won.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, what are the criteria?
So the criteria, and I feel like it's actually, I feel like it should be more transparent, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding with how the judging works. But there's 4 criteria. So there's difficulty of line, and so within that, there's a few key things that we look at, and it's like steepness, exposure, and obviously the like natural or built features on that line. And then there's fluidity and control. So how the rider manages their run in the terrain. And like, you know, like style, like what kind of style they have. Are they bringing good energy to their run, or are they looking sketchy? You know, kind of things like that. Is their timing and coordination off, or are they really smooth and flowy?
Yeah.
Are they linking everything up good? So that's a big one. Like, they're all big. They all count. And then the next criteria is tricks and style, and that's a given. Like you know.
Of course, yeah.
So tricks and style off of the features that they've built, or that natural features that are in their run. And then the fourth last one is like air and amplitude. So how big those features are.
Because that's the idea, is that everybody wants to see a big jump.
Yeah.
So obviously when you do something big, that's like everybody remembers it.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely stands out.
And so how many judges?
There's 5 judges, and there's an average score, like based on all of.
Do you remove the highest and lowest score?
Yes.
Okay.
The highest and lowest score kind of get thrown out, and then there's an average kind of calculated out of the middle 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I actually learned that this year because I chatted with Pierre-Edouard Ferry, which is one of the judges for Men's Rampage, also an incredible rider. He's been at Rampage, I think, 6 times. So he knows. He's been competing before. And he was telling me that the actual score doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that I wish that was more transparent, because I think even the riders, like they kind of know. I hope they are briefed on how the judging works. I'm sure that they are. But I think people get hung up on the numbers and like the decimal points, and it really, and they kind of insist to post the numbers on the screen on the broadcast, and of course, to the riders, but it really, we can't get too hung up on the numbers. That's just kind of like how the judges can slot the riders into their positions. So you have to be careful. Like when the first rider comes down, you have to be careful, like where you're going to start, what your starting point is.
Yeah.
And then from there, you've got to be able to leave enough room to slot people into position.
Totally.
So I think that people get hung up on the numbers, and they're like, oh, what? 86.3, like how is that? But it's just, it's unfortunate that people don't understand.
Yeah, but basically you just have to see who's ahead of you, who's below you, and that just means like whoever was above you, whether the gap is 0.5 of a point or like 5 points, that just means that the judges thought that your run was not as good.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. So it's definitely tricky, and I think they're doing it, like the system, the judging system is, it's not going to be perfect, I don't think, in any judged event, but it's pretty good. Like there isn't like the way that the system works, and from what I've seen in the judges tower and like, and experienced myself, there isn't like a super big gray area. Like it's kind of like
everybody kind of agrees.
Yeah, like and everyone, people have different opinions, and I think the way that like we can discuss in the judges tower and we can review, but you have to be very unbiased. Like you have to.
Would you have a situation where you have 5 judges and one person is completely off, and then you have a conversation, you're like, hey, but did you notice that the rider actually did this trick, or they added that, which is why everybody agreed to score this person higher? Do you have situation where that judge that, was on the other side of the spectrum was like, oh, actually I missed this, and then correct?
Yeah. So you have 3 minutes from when the rider finishes their run. So their entire run is from the start gate into the finish corral.
Yeah.
And they have 3 minutes to finish their run.
Which typically is what, like in average is like a minute to a minute 20?
Yeah. So it's plenty of time for them to get down their line, if they're going to do it in a nice flowy way. Yes. But that's the other thing, is like, you can't stop and celebrate in the middle of the run. You've got to
continue. And we've seen that in the past.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that plays into the fluidity and control, right? Like, although we love to see a rider celebrate, you got to save it for the finish corral. You got to finish your run. And so they have 3 minutes to get down, and then the judges have 3 minutes to put in a score, to lock in a score. And so you can totally talk amongst yourself, and you can change your score. Be like, oh yeah, shit, I missed this, or like replay the video. There's a lady in there, Jackie, who is amazing. She's listening in our conversation, and she's already pulling up the footage.
Yeah,
she knows what we're going to want to compare, and we can put two runs together, and it's on a big screen, and we can all like look at it again and talk.
Especially two riders, similar run. We'll talk about it, but Camille, Georgia, pretty similar run. You could play them back to back and be like, okay, I like what she did here, but this was more difficult.
Yeah. So you can absolutely, like, you can put in your score and then correct it, because it hasn't been released yet until Terry, the judge liaison, he's keeping track of the time, and he's reminding us 30 seconds, a minute, can I lock this in, kind of thing. And up until that 3 minutes, you can change your score.
Okay.
And then if it's still way off, it probably will get thrown out.
Okay.
But you do, as a judge, you want your score to count. So you really want to your score to influence that rider's run, because you want the best for the competition and for the rider. So you want to do a good job and make sure that your scoring is like within the ballpark, and the majority of the time, the judges are pretty, like, their scores are pretty on par. So yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So talking about scoring, we're going to start with the riders that unfortunately did not get a score because they didn't get to compete in finals due to injuries. So first one I have here on the list is CJ. So she's from the US, and she unfortunately broke her wrist, I believe, or forearm. So let's look at her line, and we're going to comment on what she had planned to do and also what she did in practice. Because some of those riders had done everything in practice, but got hurt and couldn't complete a run, which obviously was a bummer.
Yeah.
So CJ, what was her line like?
Well, I first want to just start off by saying, like, as a judge, our job isn't just in the judges' tower. It starts as soon as we get to the venue, and we basically hike all the lines. We talk to every athlete that we can, or their diggers or their team, and try to get a really good grasp of what their overall line is, what the potential of their line is, and also looking at the exposure. And I can't stress enough the difference between watching it on TV, even being at the bottom of the venue, looking up, even being there, compared to actually hiking up and standing at the top of some of their lines. It is like, you really cannot tell until you're up there. So in my opinion, like, you really have no idea, and you've got nothing to say unless you've actually been there, because it's so different.
And for the people listening this episode or watching it on YouTube, on my main channel, I've got two videos, one for Women's Rampage, one for Men's Rampage, where I hike up pretty much every line, and I stand on top of the features, and sometimes I can't even be on the actual feature because of the exposure. I have to be close to it, but not on the actual takeoff. And some of the lines, for example, Casey Brown, we'll talk about her line afterwards. You should definitely go and watch this video, because I was not comfortable on my feet up there. I was not very.
It really is next level when you're actually up there. Like, it's just these riders are, like, it's just so impressive.
And even the builders, like, the level of building is...
They're literally like roped in to actually build some of this stuff. And that's not like just to be cool. It's because
you have to.
You have to be. It's like, it's vertical up there, and the exposure is real. And the terrain and, like, the type of dirt, and it's tricky to ride anyways, let alone being, like, on the edge of a cliff, right? So...
And that brings us to the slopestyle point where people say, oh, the landing looks like a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yes, it does, but that's the only way that you could actually ride on the mountain.
Yeah.
If it was raw with no water, no parking, you would not be able to ride down.
Yeah.
Because, what looks like a 10-foot drop on TV is more likely a 20 feet drop.
Yeah.
And you will not be able to slow down if the dirt wasn't packed and properly prepared. You will not be able to have the control.
Yeah.
So that's why it's needed to put this much work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So CJ's run.
So CJ had a really, first of all, I show up and I'm just like starstruck I'm just so impressed by all of these women. And I'm just like, it's incredible. I just am so stoked for them all. And she had a really cool line picked out, and she was dropping in off of Brandon Semnuk's old drop-in, the same.
Super exposed.
Yeah, it's super exposed, and kind of like, it was kind of like in the middle there, the middle line, and then down the ridge.
Like when you look at it, it's like the first cliff that you see like of the gate pretty much. Yeah. It's like right there.
Yeah. It was really cool. I think she had a really good run lined up. When you're standing up there, like you can kind of see the potential of the line.
It's basically straight down, right? Because she was on the ridge the entire time afterwards. Yeah. So it's like, it was pretty much the most direct you could go to the finish line.
It was really interesting how those girls kind of like played off of that ridge. And then CJ had like a big kind of like left hip, and then off of the big drop to the like mid road, and then a huge step down to trick jump. The ridge is exposed. It's kind of like exposed to wind as well. So that's nerve-wracking. To kind of like choose your line to go down the ridge. But
because there is no way, you have no canyon that protects you. Yeah. So it's like the entire time, if it's windy, it's definitely a problem.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, it would be such a mental game, like the wind,
Totally.
So I think she had a really cool, consequential line. And I'm sad that we didn't get to see her, like put her run together.
So she crashed she had a succession. So that first like Semenox, like roll drop. And then what you don't see on TV, I guess you can imagine, but I was there in person when Kirsten first attempted it with Vinny.
Yeah.
They had the same kind of step down drop. So step down is one thing. You probably look at it on TV and be like, oh, I could do that at my local bike park. But
if you're coming in off of
it's blind and you come off something where you have so much speed.
Yeah.
So you have to drag brakes and there is no corner. So you don't really have a reference point where you can like slow down. So you have to drag brakes the entire time, and there is no trees. There is nothing to kind of like judge the speed. So it's very hard to link up features. There's a difference between you do one feature at the time and you do an entire run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had to really shut it down off of the drop because it was such a steep landing.
Yeah.
And then be really good at judging how much speed for the step down. And then, I think CJ would like hop up onto the ridge, and then she had her big hip before the drop.
Yeah. And I think she went a bit offline and she fell on the...
I didn't actually see her.
From the video I've seen, I don't remember which exact jump, but long story short, it's pretty narrow and she jumped a little bit too much to the side and essentially fell off on the line below, which caused her to get injured, unfortunately. But as everyone riding was great. And so now...
I just want to say, like with CJ, she had a crash testing the hip jump earlier on in the week, and she bruised her heel super bad.
Okay.
And she was still pushing through, like so tough.
Same jump as what Vaya injured her knee at Formation, which was the same zone.
Yeah.
And we could talk about Formation too, but Formation was like the women's Rampage.
Yeah.
What year? 2021?
I actually helped Vaya dig for that line.
Okay.
I helped her dig that line at Formation in 2022. It was
2022.
Yeah.
And so and the evolution because this was the same venue. So same venue as Men's Rampage 2014 and 2015.
Yeah.
And then same venue as Formation 2022.
Yeah.
But the women were riding completely different from before.
Yes.
Like everything's bigger, everything's faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, that brings us to another person we need to talk about that couldn't make it to the finish, Casey Brown.
Yeah.
So Casey Brown had pretty much the gnarliest start. Well, the gnarliest start.
I think so,
believe.
yeah. It was definitely up there as one of the gnarliest starts.
Like very technical.
Yeah, it's hard to compare them like exactly, but yeah, so that was Casey and Hannah's drop-in.
As well as Robin
originally, yeah. And that was Nico Vink's old drop-in from, I don't know what year.
2015, yeah. At the time, the story is that Nico Vink and his crew built that. They just ran out of time. At the time, you didn't have water up there.
Yeah.
So building a massive landing at the top was basically impossible.
Yeah.
Especially in that zone because it's so difficult. And I mean, it was crazy that Nico attempted it.
Yeah.
And obviously didn't go well, but the girls made and their team obviously made an incredible job at building it, I guess rebuilding it and making a proper landing. But it was still absolutely
the margin for
insane.
Error was so small. I think it was almost zero to drop into that. It was really messed up standing up above. It was really it was intense. I was just like, wow, this is insane. It was a super technical entrance.
Yeah.
And then the drop itself was quite big. I have all the numbers on my phone, but a significant size drop, and it's just vertical.
Yeah.
So you gotta really, you don't want to go too big
speed.
off of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, she had kind of a canyon gap, so you had to regain composure and control the speed for the canyon gap after. And I honestly really wish I was able to look at her drop properly, but without ropes, I wasn't able to actually stand.
You couldn't see completely off the lip from the top. You could get an idea. The run-in was just really technical, and they came in a corner. You'd be creeping as slow as you could possibly go, and then you had to turn right before you needed to let go.
And her first attempt, she actually did a run-in. She did the first roll-in, and she stopped, which I was actually extremely impressed that she managed to stop where she did.
Yeah.
I thought that once you start to go in, you had to do the entire line.
Yeah.
She was able to stop on something that's 45 degrees with a ton of exposure. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, she's got it.
Yeah.
Because she's got the braking control.
Yeah.
To do it, but unfortunately, her attempt didn't go this way.
I mean, personally, I think she's capable. It's just that she started to slide, and there's just no room for error.
It's sad because she slid her rear wheel toward the inside, and by the time she let go the rear brake, she had picked up a bunch of speed, not necessarily in line, and she had to pop, and just the impact was just it's you have to. You can't bunny up and hold on to the impact, and I mean obviously a lot going on, and so she had a big crash.
Yeah, she had a big crash.
Injured her knee.
Yeah, she's got a bit of a messed up knee and leg.
Yeah.
So
she got helied out at night as well.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know, because I guess they would have helied her out. I just thought that she had been carried out. But they actually helied her at night.
I think that they, it was just the easier way to get her out of that terrain.
Oh, it's,
because it's even to try to stretch someone out down that ridge, and it's, you're scrambling some sections. So it was probably easier for them to just long line her out.
Yeah, totally. So following that, we'll talk about it later, but Robin and Hannah decided to give up on the start, go different ways. Another person that wasn't able to make it to finals was Ariette.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to her actually.
And Vaya. Yeah.
And Vaya.
So has had a crash. As far as I know, I mean, I was there. She had a crash on her first drop in.
Yeah.
It was a really tricky left. I think what I understand, and I don't know 100% because I was quite far down the hill. It was really hard to see exactly what happened. But I think she rubbed up against the wall.
Actually, I saw the video, yeah.
And so she took a tumble, and I think she re-injured a shoulder.
Okay.
So she had an older injury. That's as far as I understand. It might not be 100% accurate, but...
No, but now I remember seeing the video, so that's what happened. She either cased a little bit or overshot slightly. That drop that she has was basically how the dig team built it. They basically made a run-in on a cliff.
Yeah.
So they managed to make something rideable against the cliff, and the landing was also against the cliff.
Yes.
So she had a wall on the right-hand side, ton of exposure on the left, and the landing was pretty short. If I'm correct, she cased it a little bit. You had to get a decent amount of speed and bunny up to reach to the landing.
Mm-hmm.
And either she cased it or overshot it slightly. But the landing being so short, you have to be very precise.
Yeah. So I think it was her first time dropping in. Like I think she was guinea pigging it. And yeah, so that I think they made some adjustments after that.
Because that's the line that Robin took.
And that's the line that Robin ended up riding in her competition.
Before we keep on riding, let me introduce you the partner of this video, Jenson USA. Jenson has been a huge part of the success of this YouTube channel, and they are an online retailer. They basically sell every product I'm using, from my Maxxis tires, my Ergon grips, one-up bars, even DVO suspension or Hayes brakes. You can also find my Topic tools, my specialized helmets, and my Useway backpacks. If you want to find those products, simply check out the links down below, and when you purchase using those links on Jenson, that support my channel. So thank you so much for that. Now let's go back to riding. Someone else that got injured is Vaya.
Yeah.
So she had the far right start.
Yeah.
Which was very difficult, like very exposed. The start was really cool. Like it was
really
just
cool
awesome, like how the terrain lined up.
Yeah.
But incredibly exposed.
Yeah.
I actually hiked up the line.
Yeah.
And as I was hiking up, I realized it was like really tricky to hike up, and I looked below me and I realized I couldn't get down because I'd started to climb up. So I had no choice than to actually keep on climbing, which was...
And that's the thing, you don't realize how exposed it is unless you're up there climbing around. And it was. I love the lines that Vaya picks. I just she has such a cool vision. I mean, they all do, but Vaya's definitely had like a little more experience, and I feel like maybe she's been in this game for a while, and
she has raced World Cup also before. So
and she just I find it really unfortunate that she crashed, because I don't really understand what happened. I think she would have slayed it otherwise. I think maybe, I don't know exactly what happened. I saw her crash. I didn't like watching it, but I didn't see it live. I saw it on video.
Yeah.
And it just seems like she landed a little bit deep or hard.
Yeah, so like she has a video on Instagram, but basically she's coming and it's a big drop and it's a downhill takeoff and obviously downhill landing. So when you're on it, you can actually see the landing. But I think she came in like a bit slow and popped.
So she landed hard.
And so she landed harder. Whereas when Hannah did it, because Hannah changed her line and ended up riding Vaya's top part, she did it with more speed and kind of like fell directly to the landing, which was like less of an impact.
Yes.
But regardless, that was like technical and
it's very technical, and it's also what people don't understand is that if you weren't there, like there's actually a huge wash to the right of the landing. So when Vaya crashed, she's actually quite lucky that she didn't go over into the wash.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she got quite injured, just staying on the landing. But I'm glad she didn't go into that wash, because like it's basically cliffs.
And for the viewer, she's actually doing really good, because I chatted with her a couple of days ago as I was on Vancouver Island, and she was telling me she was packing her road bike to go to Europe.
Oh, that's good news.
So she's heading to Europe to road bike. So she's doing okay.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
I would have liked to see her line, because I know she had cleans at Big Hip.
Yeah.
So that was the one of Graham Agassiz and Andrew Lacondegui back in 14-15, where she got injured. And so she had managed to clean it. Yeah. So I think she was feeling good, and unfortunately had that crash.
And I also just need to mention that Vaya, with a broken collarbone and ribs and basically
pneumothorax,
some sort of collapsed lung, hiked up and helped Hannah ride her line.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that's just such a what a pro.
Honestly, that's impressive.
They're just these girls are so rad. And yeah.
So now, last and not least, Chelsea.
Yeah.
So Chelsea was, she basically lives out there in the desert. She rides those lines for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And she went for probably one of the most iconic feature on that site, which wasn't even a thing back in 2015 and 2014 when I went there. I think Simon Godziak and Brandon Fairclough opened that feature in Rampage 2023, if I'm correct. What's the name of it?
Oh, it's called The Battleship.
The Battleship.
Yeah. And I think there's only a couple riders that have done it.
Yeah.
And so I was up there on the ridge, when she hit it for the first time. And there was a few of us up there. I was literally like this, Remy. I was I couldn't. I was just waiting for her to drop in, and I was just it was unbelievable. It is so. So if you were to hit that jump and then even the gap on and then the gap off on a regular trail.
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, this is cool.
The other thing, you could do that. I could draw the gap on a parking lot. Yeah. You could do it 100 times, and I'm sure you'll do it 100 times perfectly. But then you take that same feature and you put it with 75 feet of exposure. Yeah. And it's
side.
Wide like the couch.
Yeah.
It
was insane, just to watch her and the whole process. And I still get teary thinking about it. This is the thing is I'm so into it, and it's it runs so deep for me because I've been in this industry for so long, and that to see women here now is just it's so special to me. So when I get into the judges tower, I have to turn all that off and be
just focus on the work.
I'm cool as a cucumber, focus on my job, but I'm just that was a moment I won't forget.
It was crazy. When she did it, I was on the men's side. So for the viewers, women's Rampage was on this mountain, men's Rampage was on this one. And so when she first did it, so I was on the men's side, and all the photographer and videographer on the men's side were with a massive lens looking at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And because, people knew she was going to get picking. And I remember all the men just yelled when she did it.
Yeah.
Because
it was such a cool moment. And just what it represents and what all these women are representing is just it's so much bigger than people might understand. I'm sure people get it, but yeah.
No, and it's the exposure. Some of the feature might look like slopestyle, but when you do the slopestyle in Whistler or Joyride, there's no cliff on the side.
No, exactly.
And yet there's still accidents that happen.
Yeah.
This is it's next level. And so her line, I think it's safe to say that she she would have been like one of the top lines.
Yeah. So
maybe a winning
when
line.
you're up there and you're looking at all of the lines, you can identify like what potentially is a winning line.
Yeah.
And
she had the biggest drop. El Presidente.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably the most consequential feature outside of a drop. Or one of, yeah.
Yeah, because like Hannah's run, for example, like her line in the final, or what her and Casey and Robin were attempting, their original drop in. Like you could see what the winning lines, if they, potential, if they pulled them off, you could tell right away, like which ones were standing out as winning runs.
Yeah, Casey's line, technically harder, but I would argue that the consequences were less than the Battleship.
Yeah, I don't know like how to weigh that. It's so crazy.
I feel like the Battleship, I mean, something go wrong, you could very well die.
Yep. And so yeah, it's just like weighing up all of those little factors. As a judge, it's not an easy job.
No, like how do you rank? Like, okay, the Battleship will be. It's not easy, but will be easier to ride than Casey's feature. But
the exposure
is
on
war.
both sides is it makes it so gnarly, and you're exposed to the wind, and you know what? Actually, one thing I really like about Casey has her approach. She has like a no ridgeline rule, so that she'll never build her line anywhere that's going to be like where wind will be a huge factor.
Yeah,
which I think is pretty cool. Like I actually would probably do the same because I hate wind. I've been blown by the wind before. My God, it's like the scariest thing. You have no control.
But that's what I did at a few of the Rampage I've done. So like 16, you had no choice.
Yeah.
At the time, you had no choice than starting on a ridge, either left or right. To me, I was right. But then I tried, as soon as possible, I'll try to get off the ridge so I could be like protected by the wind.
Yeah.
But also that's why ridgeline usually score well. It's because they're very exposed. In 15, at the time, there was 42 riders. That's, and you had to qualify.
Yeah.
So you had 42 riders. Then you had like 21 that qualified for the finals. And so I went wherever there was space.
Yeah.
Like line choice at the time was not really an option.
Yeah.
And in 18, I remember there was that like drop I wanted to do that I would have done no problem. But I knew that was the most exposed part on the mountain. Yeah. And I knew that if there was a tiny bit of wind, I would not do it. So I made a line that I wasn't stuck on, but that was rideable if it was a little bit windy.
Yeah, it's really tricky to find the balance of like how you approach your build. Like you got to weigh in all the factors, and then you've got this limited real estate to use, and because there's other riders on the mountain. So it really comes down to like winning Rampage is like you play it, all your cards kind of played out as good as they possibly could.
And experience is, we'll talk about that, but experience is, a huge factor. Like your skills are important, but your experience in terms of like visualizing a line, knowing how long it's going to take to build it.
Yeah.
This was one of the struggles I had is, yes, I want to build something, but is that going to take me 1 day?
Yeah.
Or is that going to take me 7 days to make it rideable?
Yeah.
Because if it takes 7 days, then you don't have time to finish your line.
And then you're like dropping in and guinea pigging your run like the morning of, like it's nerve wracking.
And that's what happens every year to several riders where they, run out of time. Fortunately, for this Rampage, there has been a lot of rain and it's pushed final 1 day. But you could argue that the rain helped the building leading to the event because it's easier to build when it's wet.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it definitely helped with the building a little bit for sure. Not quite like not the riding, but they did get an extra day. But that being said, like experience, then Hayden shows up and wins the first time to Rampage. But there's a whole all the factors come into play. Yeah.
Yeah. But. Okay. Oh, we got some visits.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Naya, come here.
Hello.
Naya.
Girl.
Hop, hop. Okay.
Good girl.
So, now let's talk about the people who made it to the finish line.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with Kirsten. I think she was the first one to drop, I believe.
Yeah.
What do you think of her run?
It was awesome. It was like such a good place to start from too. So yeah, we kind of knew what she was potentially thinking of doing and like tricks and stuff like that. So you kind of go in with a good idea of what the potential of the run could be. And yeah, I mean, I think all the girls on their first lap were a little bit like they were a little bit shaky, but
she looks so confident.
Yeah,
she looks like she was having
solid the whole time,
and in training she was super dialed.
Yeah,
like when she guinea pig her feature, like very solid on her bike.
Yeah,
she had a hip to a left-hand burn, and she had done it before, but when I was there, she did it. She overshot it a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at her.
It was blind too.
Oh yeah, no, it was difficult to ride. She had to drag brakes before. It was not that straightforward.
It was a blind one.
And she landed on the corner like if nothing.
Yeah.
Like if it was a small jump in the bike park.
Yeah, for sure. They're good at getting themselves out of trouble.
Yeah. No, she rode like super solid. And
riders.
It's a big drop at the end. She did a no-ender on it.
Yeah.
Which under
a big, nice, extended
and like perfectly done.
Yeah. Hander.
Which under
everyone in all the guys are like Randy was like, that was sick. Like
oh yeah, no, it was
we loved it. It was
it was great. And then that under best tricks.
Yeah.
What do you think her score or ranking would have been if she had flipped the last jump?
I would definitely have brought her up. Yeah. So yeah, anytime you can add like a bigger trick or a more difficult trick, it's going to bump up your score. Yeah. And I think like that's what we're going to start seeing, like Robin basically
exactly.
I think that's what got her
where she went because of the tricks. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to weigh up all those four judging criteria. You have to weigh them all up and Robin's tricks were super strong, so that kind of bumped her up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's but yeah, Kirsten had a really good, solid showing for sure.
Yeah. So now similar line, Vinny and Janelle.
Yeah.
Like same start. Vinny was super stylish and super dull. And this you don't see it on TV, but she had a hip. So similar to Vaya. Vaya was going, well, I guess Hannah as well. They were going straight, and you could see the takeoff, you could see the landing. So it was fairly easy to line up.
Yeah.
But Vinny, bigger. Yeah. But Vinny was coming out of like something completely blind, jumping over a line into like a blind landing with a ton of exposure. If for whatever reason she was either casing and rolling the front wheel or overshooting, she could potentially like fly off a cliff.
Yeah.
And she made it look like there is nothing. She made it look like it's very easy, but really wasn't. Yeah. And I'm sure that
that definitely came into play for sure. Like we had, that was definitely like, we kept that in mind, and that it was blind. But yeah, then you got to compare. So it's like, you can show up at Rampage and have like the sickest line dialed and be like, yeah, this is gonna, this trick is gonna, this is gonna be like the best line. But that's not necessarily the case if somebody else does something that's, it all depends on what the other riders are doing. So that's because you have to compare.
Yeah.
So, like Hannah's, the hip, sure, you can see it. It's not as blind, but it's bigger. And it's also technical because it's a hip.
Yeah.
So the amplitude and the difficulty comes into play, and it all kind of like weighs each other out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vinny's line was also really entertaining, and she's just such a stylish rider. I think if she added a few more tricks, it would have elevated her up.
Sorry, Naya. Let me kick out Naya, because Naya, come here. Up. No. Downstairs.
She was starting to mess with the
downstairs.
camera. I don't think she bumped it at all.
No. Yeah, sorry about that. That's what happens when you get like an untrained dog. She's coming back. No, she's good. Okay, now Janelle.
Janelle, yeah. So Janelle, same drop in as CJ, Kirsten, Binny. Same, like step down, like shut it down, step down. And then she ended up taking another line. She had a crash in practice where she
hit the bank, right?
Yeah, she had a kind of a blind step down on the side. It was pretty exposed. And so she ended up kind of like making it a little bit smaller and just a little more manageable, I think, for her where she's at first Rampage. She turned 20 that week. Yeah. And I think she is exceptional, and I think she had an awesome run and a really like sick showing at Rampage, and she's going to have like a lot to build on.
Totally.
So that's also part of the game, is like you're also there to learn a ton, and like all the riders, all the women have still so much to learn.
Yeah.
So it's going to just keep progressing, and you want to progress safely, right? So you have a long career.
You learn more. You learn more from like progressing slowly, and being uninjured, than going to Rampage, spending like 6-7 days building a line and crashing on your first big drop.
Yeah.
And that's you better at like getting that repetition on maybe smaller jump and getting more familiar with the terrain, with the dirt, with even the schedule, with the wind, because the experienced riders, they know when it's going to be windy. They look at the forecast and they know that you don't want to wait for the wind to die to go get your bike and your gear.
Yeah.
You want to anticipate that, be like, okay, most likely the wind's going to die down at 10:30. So at 9:30, I'm going to go get my gear.
Yeah.
So I'm on top of the mountain at 10. And as soon as the wind dies, I'm like ready to go and ride. And like me, I was totally liking that.
Yeah.
I was like completely off timing on everything. I had no experience riding other terrain before. So a lot of things, I didn't know how the dirt was going to react. But now it's completely changed. All of these riders, like men and women, spend a lot of time just getting familiar with the dirt, with the jumps, and also building.
Yeah.
Because
there's so much strategy involved. And I think it's like Rampage is like it's like a long-term game. Like, like you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Every time you go and experience a different site, different circumstances, different weather,
totally.
Different features, and then how you're feeling that week. And there's just so much going on. It's like, So Janelle really impressed me just with her approach. Like
I did not know who she was.
It's so mature and like smart to know when to like pull it back.
Yeah.
And like I'm here. I'm stoked I'm here. And I'm gonna make sure that I'm building my line so that I can like perform well on it. It was solid for sure.
So now if we move to the other side of the mountain, we had Georgia and Camille, two similar runs. They both hit El Presidente, which is Team Axel drop from 2015, which is massive. It's completely blind, it's huge, and also it's fast.
Yeah.
So it's not a slow speed drop, or you can like...
No, they were pedaling
into it, which was... I was very impressed by this drop. Like obviously all the drops were huge, but this one was like, and a bit sideways too. Like it was not like perfectly straight.
Yeah.
It will, on a drop this size, it will actually be easy to miss the landing.
It's a pretty narrow landing for how far down.
And Chelsea, on her first attempt, Chelsea was like pretty close to the left-hand side. So Camille's line, she got fourth. She took the same entrance as, I believe, Cal Strait and Cam Zink in 14-15. super slow technical running.
And then rowdy.
And then like a 90-degree, like, it's not just a corner, she drops off a cliff. So she's basically off the ground for like almost 20 feet.
Yeah.
And like into a catch burn. But you told me, so off camera, you told me she lost a little bit of points because she had features that she didn't actually do.
Yeah, so I love Cammie's drop-in was like my favorite. Like, I'm kind of old school. I love that like rowdy shoot kind of line, and it's so her too. Like, it's so her style. And yeah, we loved it. And but yeah, I think what her and Georgia were quite close together in where they were being slotted. And I think Cammie's drop-in was more like technical and dangerous, and more of a difficult drop-in than Georgia's. But I think what a lot of people didn't see is that Cammie actually had a couple features that she kind of like rode around instead of hitting them. I think that's where she injured herself in practice.
Yeah, for the story, she dislocated her elbow.
Drove herself to the hospital.
Oh, drove herself too.
Got it put back in. And
still competed. And still placed fourth.
Yeah. Unreal. She won the toughness award.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very close between her and Georgia. But because the judges had to take into account that she missed a couple of her features that's before the lemon drop to El Presidente. In her second run, she improved a little bit, and she did a no-hander off the trick jump at the bottom. But Georgia's fluidity and control is just like, it's so textbook that we had to, like, that's one of the criteria.
She makes it look easy.
She just, it was very close between them. Yeah.
No, Georgia rode unreal, so pretty much the same bottom as Cammie, big drop, a lemon drop. But prior to that, her entrance was a little bit easier, but she just had so much style. Like she treated that like it's almost like a World Cup race. And
like her energy, like in her run, is just like she's just having fun, and it really transfers across. Like, and her timing and control, and it probably, I mean, I know Cammie has a downhill racing background because I used to race with her at some of the pro GRTs, but Georgia's just, her timing and coordination is so perfect. That we had to give it to her.
She makes Rampage look easy.
Yeah.
Which is not.
Yeah. And Cammie, I mean, I can't believe she came back after that injury and placed fourth. She should be so stoked.
Yeah. No, and she was in pain, and it was cool to see her like be able to do a top to bottom, because last year she crashed on that big drop that her and Chelsea built, and so she wasn't able to compete.
Yeah.
So I know she was disappointed this year that she skipped that feature, but like,
yes, of course she would be disappointed, and I think that all this will do is like add fuel to the fire for next year, and you can only like improve on those little things that you learn.
Yeah, she learned a lot, and
if you're winning all the time, I say this to like the youth that I coach, like if you're winning all the time, you're not going to learn as much. So it's like, it's not that bad.
No.
You're actually going to learn more if you're second or last, or so it's like you got to look at it that way.
So talking about second place this year was Hannah.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, she originally was going to do same start as Casey Brown, changed her line and went and took Vaya's start, which was really cool. I really like this section.
Yeah.
That canyon gap was no joke. It was big, and you had to brake before, which is
judging
the speed on the jumps is big.
Yeah.
Is
and it's literally like the difference is like the tiny tap of the brake. If you don't tap it enough, or you're sending, because it's so steep.
Yeah,
you're all of a sudden sending super deep. And she actually did that in practice. And I think in one of her runs, she landed a little bit deep.
She's really solid. Like, so she's from Bellingham. She rides a lot of like, super steep slab and like technical drops. But she also added, so she had a big drop at the end, step down, and she also added a flip.
She did a big flip, yeah,
which was perfect.
And then her cool little hip at the end,
yeah,
it all adds up.
Yeah. So question. I probably know the answer, but as a judge, do you judge differently a rider that had a plan? Let's say doing like the same line as Casey Brown, and then adapt.
Yeah.
And pick up a different line.
So
do you judge just the run, or do you judge a little bit based on your expectation for what came before the actual competition?
I think at the end of the day, I think that this isn't like I'm relatively new to judging, but I know that some judges do take that into account. But in this case, both her and Robin changed their start lines.
And they finished first and second.
So we kind of like ended up judging the runs.
Mm-hmm.
And like we took into account everybody's lines top to bottom. But that definitely, I think, played into some of the judges' minds for sure. Totally. But at the end of the day, it was between Robin and Hannah for that winning run. And they both changed their lines. And Hannah's line was definitely more difficult. Like it had that like more exposure and more difficulty overall.
Yeah.
But Robin, not to say that Robin's wasn't difficult.
I don't know about that, because actually, so Robin rode Harriet's line.
Robin rode
the start.
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know why I call her.
Haz's line that, and I don't necessarily think that that's not difficult. Just saying, like.
I think the start were equally as difficult, but Hannah had a bigger jump. That canyon gap was bigger. But then Robin was able to, she had a free ride section that I really liked.
Yeah, I like that too.
Like this corner.
I kept saying that. I love that
shoot. Because she had everything. She had something that looked a bit more like finished and slope style, but that's also because her build team did like an incredible job.
Yeah.
But then she had a section that was very free ride on top, completely raw in the middle, and then a bit more slope style. But she was able to do a bunch of no-enders. She had a couple of no-ender, 2 backflip, and a backflip step down.
Yeah.
At the very end.
Yeah. It was definitely close between them. Like walking up there and measuring the drops and the amplitude, like some of Hannah's drops and jumps, the amplitude was higher. But then Robin did more tricks. So, in the end, and I'm glad that you mentioned that free ride shoot, because I love that. Like, I think it's important at Rampage to kind of have an element of that in your line if you can.
Totally.
But it really depends on the venue and like kind of like where you're building on the mountain. But it was really fortunate that they could work that into their line, because her and Haz's line, because it was super cool. But at the end of the day, when you compare all of those 4 judging criteria, Robin just came out on top.
Yeah. I think she deserved. She deserves it. Like her riding was like perfect. She was
very smooth, and
she did like a pedal crank flip somewhere in the middle, like just little thing, but you could see how comfortable she was. And so now let's talk about prize money. She won 100,000 US plus a truck, but second place only gets 15 grand.
Isn't it 40?
I thought it was 50.
And then third is 20, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
don't.
So okay. Well,
I am so like that's like the last thing I think about, but But yeah, there is quite a disparity.
There's a big gap between first and second.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I'm not the boss of that. I don't make those decisions, but I do think, it's quite extreme.
What are, like, after, being at the event for the past 2 years now, what are, like, some room of improvement, or, like, where would you like to see the event go from here? Like, what do you think could be changed to, benefit the rider and the show?
I think, the riders want the platform, like they love Rampage, and I think it is a good, like, event and platform for mountain biking and freeride and for their careers. I don't know exactly, like, what would improve it. I obviously, like, new venues, but I don't think that that's quite, like, I don't know if they have access to that. I don't think that they do. I think they're limited with where they can go out there and build. So, that's not really, it might not be realistic. Because, when you go back to a venue that's been used, you're like resurrecting old jumps and
you can really push the level even more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of course you have to redo every landing, especially after a couple of years.
Oh yeah,
you have
they
to
go
rework
and decommission them like the day after.
So they usually, just for liability reasons and to avoid that people just go and, like, try everything. The event organizer, like, decommission, like, a lot of the takeoff and stuff, and obviously then weather. We walked the 2024 site prior to the men's event, which was the same site as 2018 and 2019, and then back in 2024 and I think 2021 as well. Anyway, some of those landings were pristine 12 months ago, and now it's absolutely unrideable because of the rain, the storm, the wind, all of that. So, but the thing is that when the landing is, like, partially built, revamping it is much less work than starting from scratch, and so that allows the rider to, like, keep building bigger and better every time and really push the level up.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, it's a big conversation, and I don't know if I have answers. Like, I'm still trying to kind of figure out how I feel about it all, like, after all the injuries and things like that. But I don't know, like, I don't necessarily think a rider to win Rampage needs to do, like, something that's, like, like, death defying. I think.
Well, we saw it with, both winners, men and women, obviously took a lot of risk.
Absolutely. No,
but there was no insanity either.
Yeah.
It was, like, great riding, great line choice.
Within their abilities.
Yeah.
And not to say that, you can be riding within your ability and, you have this big trick that's totally in your wheelhouse. You can screw it up, or the wind can hit you, or, whatever.
Totally.
Any mistake can be made and can result in a super bad crash and injury. But yeah, it's an interesting conversation to have. But as far as, like, improving Rampage, I don't know. Like, I think you kind of have to, at this point, like, work with what you have, and
it's kind of the nature of the event anyway. It's these riders are pushing to an absolute limit because they want to win.
Yeah.
And obviously there's the pressure of prize money and sponsors. A lot of the riders, that's really their entire focus and their biggest event for the entire year. Well, it is the biggest event for the entire year.
Yeah.
So winning that or placing well has a huge impact on their income for not only the next year, but the next few years. Because if you put on your resume that you won Rampage, that's gonna last your entire career.
Yeah.
And that's gonna have an impact on your income for, the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
So obviously it's huge.
Yeah, it's not just the prize money for that event. It's like your
The compound effect.
career for years afterwards. And it's tough. Like, like I've been in this industry a while and I've been through it all and I get it. Like when you're in it, it's like your whole world. Like, and it has to be for you to be excellent at something. Like it's the only thing that's going on in the world for you. But I think as you kind of evolve as an athlete and as a person, and this has nothing to do with age, because I know a lot of young athletes that realize there's more to life than just winning, right?
Yeah.
I think you start to see like what, that it isn't the only thing in your life.
No, I know.
So it is interesting. It's interesting to observe that, and I don't know.
But if you are at Rampage and if you have the ability to win, which is nowadays anybody.
Yeah,
like
anyone that shows up.
Anybody that shows up there technically could win.
Yeah.
Because everybody is so good.
Yeah.
It's pretty
and
hard.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to be like, I don't want to take the risk to win.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be happy with the top 5.
Yeah.
I think all those riders think they can win, are going to try to win or to do their best, which, might be a winning run. I don't think Hayden showed up thinking he was going to win.
No. But maybe he had a top 3 goal or a top 5 goal.
But I think he was riding really well and judges loved his line and he won. Yeah. So talking about the men's Rampage, as we mentioned, 2 different sides. Did you get to hike around?
Yeah, so I did get to go up there and walk around, and I actually ran into Hayden at the top, and I was actually with a VIP group. These people buy VIP tickets and they get to like hike around and like actually see
what it is
it's
in
really
person.
Like, because you really don't, as I mentioned before, you don't know until you're standing up there. And Hayden was hiking up, and I was like, Hayden, what's up? And he's like, Claire, I'm about to drop into my drop-in for the first time. And I'm like, you got this. Like, you're gonna, kind of was in a good place where I could just give him some positive vibes. And then I watched him nail it. And it was definitely one of the spicier lines off of the start, for sure.
Did he first do the double drop or did he roll?
No, I think you're committed. You hit the lily pad, you're committed. You can't.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he did first the lily pad or if he first did the same running as Reed and drop into his drop to just get the practice.
I think he dropped straight off of the top.
Wow.
Yeah. And he just executed it perfectly. He's really dialed it.
Well, there is no not doing it perfectly.
No,
just because of the exposure. Yeah. It's like a lot of those drop, you can't make a mistake. It's not like your local bike park where, Whistler Bike Park. You can case pretty much any drop.
Not like the bike park.
Yeah, you can case pretty much any drop on that merchant or any jump on that merchant and be fine.
Yeah.
You might bottom out your bike or, slip your pedal, but I think you can make mistakes. This you cannot.
No, and a lot of that is just the steepness of it and how quickly you pick up speed. Like in an absolute instant, you're just going mock because it's so steep. Yeah. It's steeper than the bike park isn't steep.
No, the bike park is made to.
It's like flat. You got to work for it.
The bike park is made to get people entertained
and build your skills
and make money, right? So people have fun and they come back and there is more and more people. Rampage is not.
It's set up for success. The bike park's set up for success.
Yeah. So you walked around a little bit. I know you looked at the events from your phone at the airport.
Yeah.
But which are some of your favorite features or lines that you saw at Men's Rampage?
Well, actually, I gotta say, because I'm a little bit old school, Cam's shoot.
Yeah.
Unreal. Like it's so burly. Like, I don't know, it might not look impressive on the TV, but when you
in person, it's very impressive.
It's very impressive in how much speed you pick up, and just like the steps in it, like
those drops are
and then you're going so fast out of it.
And then the jump that you have to control the speed for, because you have to brake for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you land on the next body over.
Yeah. Cam had a winning line. Like
I know.
He could put it together. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bummed for him that he missed. I mean, slid the pedal and.
I know.
And
Sport
then,
is so heartbeaking.
Especially for him, like the Superman where he crashed on run 2. Like for him, it's like what most people when they do a bar turn or a one end. Like for him, it's easy, but with all the stress and like you've been so focused for an entire minute while you play your life.
Yeah. I know it's hard. Like I can't comment too much on the men's. Like I did get to hike around up there, but I didn't get to see everyone's line in detail. But because of the weather day, I had to still fly out because I had other like work commitments. So I was actually watching the men's Rampage on my phone at the airport. So I didn't get to see it live, but it was. I mean. And it's just like, again, next level every year.
the level was crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for your time. Yeah. We'll do the men's Rampage. I'll put the video like shortly after this one.
Cool.
So make sure you subscribe, leave me a like, comment. You can watch it or listen to it on Spotify, I guess. And that's about it.
Sweet.
Thank you so much, Claire. I hope you can feel your leg. My knees are hurting from the couch.
Sitting in one position.